Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me, I'm shirtless. I literally just got back from the beach, did a little bit of surfing, so just excuse all the look. We're in my car right now because I'm gonna get something to eat right after we shoot this video because I meant to do it yesterday, but I just forgot. So yeah, so let's just hop right in. So this might be relatively small, but I give no promises. I usually I talk for on end on these videos sometimes. So I give no promises, but I hope for this video to be a little bit shorter because I don't have much to say on this particular topic, but we'll see where we go. We'll see where this video goes. In my blonde review, I talked about the MPAA very briefly. I talked about just, if they're getting soft and if they're just becoming if there's more betas, operating the system nowadays, we don't know. And the reason why I bring this up is because of Blonde, if you didn't see my review, my basic response to it is that I think that it's okay. I think it's visually interesting and the performance is interesting, but other than that, it's fine. But what I really pointed out most in the review was the rating, which was NC-17, and for some reason everybody was bringing that up, and I said it in the review, and I pretty much, I felt this way months ago. I said the movie was going to basically be the Joker of this year. It was going to be a movie that everybody just flags up and piles on shit to make a certain political statement or a certain point about violence or this and that, even though the movie itself doesn't represent such things to such extremes. And pretty much Blonde does the same exact thing, because anybody who watches Blonde who is not a sensitive little fucker will know that the movie is pretty tame in design, because there are people who bring up the sexual violence of it. I've been seeing a lot of reviews for this, and people have been really trashing on this movie for various reasons. I mean, a lot about Monroe and how they portray her and this and that, but I want to address the material of Blonde because it gets into the MPAA discussion. But so if anybody who watches Blonde, spoilers for anybody who hasn't watched Blonde yet, but there is only one sex scene that's shown in the movie. The rest is implied. There is a rape implication near the beginning, but it's literally just a second. And you don't see anything. You don't see penetration. You don't see this and that. You just see her bottoms get removed and her face, and that's it. You don't see anything else beyond that. The only material that you see that is sexual oriented and it is there on display is a consensual scene between two dudes. She gives consent. She is enjoying herself. There's no manipulation. There's no this and that. You can kind of see it in a certain way that it might be manipulative, but it's not enough to where it's alarming, because it's all consensual. They're perfectly fine with it. Everyone involved is perfectly fine with it. So the sexual violence that people are bringing up as if the movie is showing it on display and making a certain commentary or doing it whatever. I said the movie is self-indulgent, but I say it's self-indulgent in just the way it portrays its subject in general. I'm not talking about just sexual violence or anything like that. I feel like it does kind of take a little bit of too much of a pleasure in how it's designed and just how it portrays certain things. But I don't believe it's an insult to Marilyn Monroe also, because remember, it's the movies people always forget. They're all based on interpretations. It's not about getting it right, okay? Because you're not going to know the real person. You're just going to have to research, and then based on what you read, you interpret that and you put it on the screen. because everything that you see is a point of view. It's not the here is the actual thing. You know, if you want that, just go read up shit on the internet. Like if you want to watch a piece of entertainment, you watch a movie, and that's what Blonde is trying to do. It's not trying to do anything like, it's basically trying to do the Spencer effect, where it's trying to be kind of like a fable of some kind, you know. Because I don't think the movie ever outright says like this is who Marilyn Monroe is. Like they never make a point to do such a thing. But I'm getting off track from that. But yeah, but all the reviews for this movie has just been trash, and they've just been very, very sensitive little asses who are just, you know, probably mainstream people who probably have not watched movies like there's way worse movies out there, like Lars von Trier movies, Cronenberg movies, Irreversible. I mean, there are movies out there that are way worse than Blonde. And the reason why I bring up those movies also is because a lot to do with the MPAA, because I don't understand why this movie got an NC-17 rating. I really don't. Because as I've addressed, there is nothing in the movie besides one consensual scene that really warrants that rating. Because for me, a rating should be reflecting what's on screen, not what's implied. You know what I mean? By that logic, that would mean a lot of movies would be rated R or NC-17 or whatever. Like, it's about what's on screen. What am I seeing? What are my eyeballs seeing? And in Blonde, you don't see anything that visceral or crazy. The craziest thing you see is her second abortion, and you see like some blood on her vagina. That's it. That's the craziest thing that you see, and that's literally a second. It's literally a second. They don't make a big deal about it. They don't show it in grave detail. It's just literally the camera's like, here's the blood and we're going away now. Like, it's just, you know, that's the most extreme element of the movie. Because there's literally no rape shown. There's no sexual violence shown. There's physical violence shown, but it's pretty tame, again. And the parts that you would expect to see in a movie that's NC-17, they don't show it at all. It's just like, I never understand when movies get certain ratings, like a lot of the Marvel movies nowadays, I would say are PG, you know, like, I just, the violence in those particular material, I don't see why they would need a PG-13 rating. Maybe it's just typical to, like, it's more comforting to put in a PG-13 rating. Maybe to get more traction or make more money, but still, it's like, if you're gonna rate it properly, rate it properly. I don't think the violence in those movies warrant a PG-13 rating. When I think of PG-13, I think of edge. You know, I think of a little bit of edge in there. I don't think of soft, comforting CGI fest, you know? I feel like that would be more in a PG type setting. When I think of an R-rated movie, some of the more recent ones I can think of, Logan. Logan's definitely an R-rated movie. Joker's definitely R-rated. There's, like, you know, they shoots a person in the head, and you see it, you know, so that definitely warrants an R rating. I'm trying to think of other R-rated stuff. Midsommar, that's definitely an R-rated film. Like, you know, there are, like, that kind of thing with R-rated material, where they are showing you a certain level of violence. That's, to me, what an R rating should be. NC-17 is grotesque, very violent, severely disturbing. Like, that's what I believe an NC-17 rating should be. Like movies like Nymphomaniac. I said in my review for Blonde that I actually thought Nymphomaniac was rated R, but it actually was NC-17, so they labeled it correctly. Something like Nymphomaniac. Irreversible, which I'm not sure if it's NC-17, but based on what I've heard from Irreversible, I have not seen the movie incidentally, but from what I've heard, that movie is pretty grotesque. I mean, the movie literally starts off with a rape sequence, and apparently it's on full display. So, it's material like that. It's what's shown. It's not what's implied. It's what's shown, and it's just it bugs me when, you know, a movie like Blonde gets all this attention and people are putting so much on it, and then you watch the movie and it is nothing like that. And the MPAA is also to blame for it. Like, why label it in that kind of way? You know? What is the point of that? Is it because you're getting soft? Is it because you're just becoming more sensitive? Is it because have the standards now changed to what can be NC-17? Like, if Blonde is an example of an NC-17 movie, man, we're gonna have so many NC-17 movies in the future, because like, that is not at all what NC-17 should be. NC-17 is for extreme content, and Blonde just doesn't have that. I mean, it really doesn't. There's nothing in the movie that is crazy. Again, if you're a little sensitive-ass motherfucker, then you probably might think that the movie is very, very grotesque and very disturbing, and, oh, it's very, this and that. I mean, you are obviously entitled to your opinion also, but are you going to tell me that Blonde is more disturbing and more grotesque than a movie like Nymphomaniac, where you're actually seeing their penises, and you're actually seeing the penetration, you're actually seeing her perform all these like oral things and all that shit, or The House That Jack Built? Are we gonna say that that Blonde is more disturbing than The House That Jack Built? I didn't think it was that disturbing, but like stuff like that, something like from Von Trier, Crimes of the Future, which I know some people found pretty disturbing, even though I don't think it was, but still, or Irreversible, a film that I've not seen, but from everybody that I've heard from, they've said that movie is just crazy. So I don't know what's up with the MPAA on this one. I think it was just a poor judgment. I think also they're just getting really soft, because the reality is that Blonde is an R-rated movie. It's an R-rated movie. They show this is literally how it's labeled on Netflix. It's rated NC-17, and you see the description of why it's NC-17. It says some sexual content. That's it. That is for an R-rated movie, not an NC-17 movie. So, yeah, I found that to be very laughable. That was the thing that I thought about throughout the whole movie. I was just like, this is NC-17? I mean, really? Like, it was just very, very surprising to me, especially for a movie that was just okay. I would have maybe had if the movie was better, maybe and if it had more arresting elements, then perhaps I might understand. But as it is, it's an okay film that I feel was labeled incorrectly. And I don't think it's that offensive or anything like that. There is some, like I said in the review, there is some material that I feel could be seen as offensive, and surely it has. But I personally don't see anything offensive in the movie. I don't. I think that it is self-indulgent, absolutely. But I don't think that it is, I don't think that it's I don't think it's like something that turns me off. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, what are you doing? How could you do this to this person? It seems like, like, no, that's not how I felt about when I was watching it. But I feel like the MPAA is lately just getting a little soft. Like I said, with like some of this like more mainstream content, like the Marvel movies, I feel like lately that could be labeled as like PG. And I don't think it would affect anything financially speaking, unless they think so. Like stuff like that, I feel like it'd be PG, but PG-13 that should be reserved for edgier films, like I don't know, like spy movies, like the Bourne movies, or I don't know, it's basically stuff that doesn't have a bunch of CGI in it. Like a horror film. I could like those feel more appropriately rated when they're like PG-13 or R-rated. Most times I feel like they should be PG-13, because a lot of the mainstream horror films are just pretty much like PG-13. So stuff like that. Because I feel like lately we've just been MPA. Maybe once you like kind of, because this movie has kind of like opened my eyes up a little bit to what the MPA system's been lately. I feel like it's just been kind of getting soft and getting a little sensitive, and Blonde is like kind of the bigger example of that, because if you really kind of think about it, there are certain things that should be rated lower and or rated higher, you know? And Blonde should definitely be rated lower. It's an R-rated movie. And it absolutely is. There's nothing in it that suggests that it should be NC-17. I don't care what the movie implies. What I care about is what the movie shows, and that's what the rating should reflect, what it shows, not what the content is, okay? Because if we're gonna go by that, then a lot of movies would be NC-17. If we're judging based on what is suggested. No, that's just, no, that's not how you rate material. And I feel like the MPAA as of late's been kind of slacking off, especially when it comes to like superhero movies and other material, you know. And Blonde is just a bigger example. So yeah, I think that the MPAA is... Oop, I just hit my camera. I feel like the MPAA is just... I wouldn't say they're becoming unreliable, but I just feel that they should reevaluate, you know, some of their rating policies, and just, you know, be a little bit more reasonable and understandable of your ratings, because this rating was just ridiculous for Blonde. It just felt ridiculous, especially upon watching the movie now. Like, don't listen to what everyone's saying. It's not that disturbing. It really isn't. It's very, very tame. If you want, like, very upfront, like, you know, if you want to see some crazy shit, like I told you, Nymphomaniac, The House That Jack Built, basically anything Von Trier, or to an extent Cronenberg, yeah, there you go. If you want your craziness, but if you want some tameness, and with a little bit of visual intrigue, Blonde might be it for you. But it's not the movie that everybody is making it out to be. So, or the MPAA is. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. You guys let me know, do you guys feel like the MPAA is just kind of getting soft, and do you feel like that the rating for Blonde was justified? I personally don't feel it was. And do you feel like, in general, like, certain content can be reevaluated? I personally think superhero movies should be PG, not PG-13, because I just don't see what the violence in those movies as of late. I don't see where it warrants to be PG-13. I just feel like it's just the MPAA getting comfortable with putting things in certain camps. But we don't, you know, you have to be able to rate your stuff correctly. But I believe superhero movies should be PG-13. But you guys let me know. Do you guys think that they should be PG or PG-13? Yeah, I said PG. Yeah. So, yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I promise to have a shirt on, hopefully. And I'm gonna go get myself some food, because I'm a little bit tired. But thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next video, whatever it might be. We'll see. But that's it for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.